What's up, everyone? Scout Army, Scout DFS subs. This is FuegoSteve bringing you another edition of the NBA podcast. As usual, joined here by JaguarLou. What's going on, Lou?
Hey Fuego, how was your football weekend?
Oh, not so hot, man. I just can't put that thing together, man. I'll either have guys that I was on that just one or two that don't do well, they're in the lineup, or I'll be on all the right guys and they're in different lineups. I just like the main slates. I can win in the early, I can win afternoon a little. Just can't put it together on the main slate. So yourself, you doing win anything?
I'm in place to possibly, knock on wood, take down another one of those $5,700 tickets to the mega qualifiers. They run them for the Sunday slate. They run them for the primetime slate. They run them for the Monday, Thursday slate. Uh, if I was smart, I don't know how many more of these they're running, but if I was smart and I end up taking this down tonight, I really should pocket them. These Thunderdome $5,700 competitions, they're very tough to take down. And you think that just because there's less people, it's easier, which it is, but you're also dealing with, the pros, the best of the best, and even the most recent mega queue that I just played, I had double digit outputs from every single one of my players, and I still came in like 39th place, top 8, got tickets, and it's difficult, like even with double digit output out of every one of my players, I couldn't come even top 20. So if I do take this down tonight, I think I'm going to wait and be responsible and stack it up with another ticket. But we got NBA this week, and there's a lot of good games to take advantage of. So I'm also ready to go for NBA.
Yeah, FanDuel. I was just reading. I saw this contest that it's $3, 5 entry max, 10,000 to first place, which is pretty cool. You only have to put in $15 to max enter. It's part of some hot hand series, which I think they're just trying to get you to play every day. But besides that, I like that particular tournament that they started tonight on FanDuel. It's called the NBA Pick and Roll, 5 entry max, 10,000 to first, 5,000 to second. So it's a pretty good tournament. Of course, there's 30,000 people, so your odds of winning are still very low. But to be able to have the equal number of entries, that's why we always recommend the single entries. We recommend the 3 max. Even in a 5 max, if you have 1 or 2 entries in a 5 max, your chances are much better than if you have 1 or 2 entries in 150 max. So really concentrate on those singles, those smaller tournaments that I always talk about entering. The small dimes and the small assists, they're called, and things like that. You got the swingman, $15, 3 entry max. I always like that one. And the rebound is a 5 max, 10 entry. But anyway, what am I looking at here? Oh, yeah, NBA. So I wanted to mention something. I was looking at the players that are questionable tonight. We got a few key injuries. Steph Curry, who is questionable. Elfrid Payton, questionable, both at point guard. Rudy Gobert is out 4 to 6 weeks at center. But I was looking at Curry. He has not hit 50 points yet this season. He's hit over 40 every single game. He must be a money cash play. That's for sure. He hasn't hit it. I take that back. He has hit 50 a few times, but he's very rarely. He's only hit it twice. But he has 41, 47, 30, 41, 43, 44, 42, 49, 40. It's all these 40s. So I'd like to see some of those ceiling games coming from Curry, but when Durant plays,
he's actually questionable tonight. Am I wrong there?
Yeah, that's what I started it with. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
questionable.
So there's a lot of these injuries. You got to not only assess how it affects the team that they're on, but also the opposing team. You gotta know both of those game situations, and the Curry thing. It used to result in being able to roster Sean Livingston. I don't know if that's so true anymore. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, you could plug him in, and he would get you like 20 or something.
I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at him now. It's like I feel like who this is. I hope we get this news sooner rather than later. Sean Livingston's like a point a minute, basically. If they give him the 30 minutes, it's a possibility that he hits value, I guess, against a Shelvin Mack too. That's a viable play, I guess. I mean, last year I used to lock that in, but this year I don't go to it as quickly.
Yeah, I mean, if Curry is out, you look more to the Durant, to Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, that kind of thing. So I'm not sure that would go right to Livingston, but keep an eye on that. Curry's 9,200 going against Orlando, and I mentioned the other guy on the other side of the ball, Alfred Payton's questionable as well. So I could see going Curry if they say he's a full go, no minutes limits. But above him, we got John Wall, 97, Lillard, 96, and then it drops off. Those are the only three guys in the 9,000s on FanDuel. Then drops down to Lonzo Ball at 76, Rubio, Holiday, Payton, and Schroeder. I kind of like Dennis Schroeder at 7,000 going up against New Orleans. I don't mind Ball. He's been a little up and down, but he's played well. I mean, he put up almost 70 points the other night, and I had him in a late night contest, but I certainly did not have him main. He had a triple-double, 19 points, 12 boards, 13 assists, 3 steals, and 4 blocks. What a freaking game line in 38 minutes of play. Put up 69. Before that, he's hit 32 games in a row. So Lonzo Ball's picking up his play. Lillard going up against Denver and Wall, who plays Sacramento. They're probably all viable. I've been doing if I pay up for point guard, I'm usually only paying up for one and then going down. But I've been doing a lot of either the 2 mid-range point guards or even dropping down to 2 lower-end point guards. You like any of the high-end point guard plays tonight, Lo?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of said it. I've been getting like a lot of feelings about all of them. I mean, Lonzo Ball is definitely a more skilled player than Tyler Ulis, so I like that play. I don't like Tyler Ulis, even though the Lakers did let up a lot of points to opposing shooting guards. Tyler Ulis is a pass-first point guard. So
is he starting over Mike James now?
They right now my
just split.
Yeah, my projections have Tyler Ulis, and
right.
I can refresh it, and it is.
No, I think you might be right.
But yeah, so I personally will not be paying up for point guard tonight. I have a couple low end plays that I like. I'll go down the list so Fuego doesn't have a stroke and get upset with me because I'm always all over the place. But I do have some lower end plays that are pretty viable, not for huge upside, but for value if you want to go elsewhere. So I don't mind Ricky Rubio. We talked about Minnesota all year, allowing a lot of points to opposing point guards. The only thing is without Gobert, is it just going to be a blowout? And also in such a slow-paced game, but he might be able to hit value at 7,500. Dennis Schroeder, Drew Holiday, both at 7,000. You can run both of them in hedge lineups. They're the exact same price. So if you want to run one of them, invest in another lineup and run the exact same lineup, but just switch it out for Drew. I always love doing that. I would stay away from Eric Bledsoe. Jeff Teague, I don't mind. He would be a GPP. But I'm down to the level of my sneaky plays. So you mind if I go sneaky real quick?
Oh well, yeah, I'll give you that in 1 second. But I like the Schroeder, I like the Holiday. Like I think you could even put them both in the lineup. I think you could put Conley and Teague in there, all in that 7,000 to 6,500 range. You go Schroeder, Teague, Conley, Schroeder, Teague, Holiday. I think those are some good pairings. Spend only about 14,000 on your 2 shooting guards because let's say you're using that number 14,000. yeah, you could go a Wall and a Lillard with one of these smaller guys, lower end guys. One of them you're probably about to mention, which is one way to do it. So we always talk about doing your 2v2 comparison. Okay, if I go Wall and Tyler Eulis, for example, it costs me 13.7. How many points are they going to put up? And if I go Teague and Schroeder, it costs me 13.5. How many points are they going to put up? So that's one way we always talk about looking at how to make those decisions. But yeah, sure. Let's drop down to some of these other guys. Under 6,000, you got Mike James, who we just mentioned, they split time pretty much with Tyler Eulis, De'Aaron Fox, Jamal Murray, and Emmanuel Mudiay. It's always tough to get those two right, but they both probably are viable at 47 and 46. TJ McConnell, 46. Nidalinka, 44. Talk to me some about the lower end guys, or tell me who your sneaky play is.
All right, so my sneaky play just got changed to a power forward position because I checked the match. Yeah, sorry about that. I checked the matchups.
Now you're gonna have to wait.
I know, I gotta wait, which sucks. But all these listeners, I got a sneaky play, which is actually a high end play, but I think he might have a 90-point upside tonight if this matchup is correct. But I'll talk about that when we get to power forwards. Staying on topic at point guards, I don't have a problem with Tyler Eulis at 4,000. I just don't want you guys to expect like the massive game. He's very much a pass first point guard, and with this lineup tonight, you do have to think about where points go. I don't think Devin Booker is a good play, because Contavious Caldwell-Pope is guarding him on the other end, and he is a shutdown defender. So personally, I'm going to be having a lot of exposure to Warren and Chris tonight. But Eulis is worth a look at such a cheap price. I mean, he is going up against a team that struggles against the point guard. I've just watched him a lot of times, and I've seen him dish the ball off to Booker a lot. So like he is very skilled, but I think he's the smallest guy in the league besides, or the smallest point guard in the league besides, or I saw this thing last year. Remember he did that tip off with Isaiah Thomas, and it was the smallest aggregate height of two guys tipping off against each other. But yeah, like he's not going to be able to beat Lonzo Ball, I think, to the basket or shoot over him, and I think he's going to pass to Booker at first, and KCP is going to shut him down. So Warren and Marquise Chris are a better place for me, but I have no problem taking a chance at such a cheap price. Personally, I think it's safer to go to what's his name, Sean Livingston. If Steph Curry's out. Yeah, sorry. If Steph Curry's out, then I would go to Livingston, and I would even consider doing a Mac Livingston stack. Players that come in like off the bench, like Mac, like because he's playing for Alfred Payton, they usually allow a lot of points. By the way, Payton's not confirmed out, so this is information you got, and this is 10:30 games, so you're not even going to get this information. And it's just said he was rested for Saturday's game, so who knows? But if Peyton's out and it gets confirmed, I would consider Mac. I have no problem with that. I played him the other night, but also you got to remember these guys that come in, and which is what I'll tell you about my power forward play. For these guys that come in to sub for starters that are normally everyday players, they usually allow a lot of they allow a lot of points to the opposing position. So if Shelvin Mack is starting, and then you find out Sean Livingston's starting, like this would be a rare scenario because it's a 10:30 game and you might not find out. But I would have no problem going Shelvin Mack, Livingston stack, and a lot of these big name guys up top don't really have me too excited, except for this Dennis Schroeder Holiday thing, which is more of a mid-range play. So I guess the answer to all your questions is I guess the highest play I would go to is Lonzo Ball, but I don't see a need to pay up for John Wall, just because you're paying $9,700 for 50 points that he's going to get, but he hasn't really been going over, and he has the floor too, so it's tough there. And so I wouldn't pay up for Wall. And Lillard, I mean, is Will Barton playing tonight?
No, the question
Yeah.
is whether Gary Harris is playing.
Well, yeah. I mean, if Gary, I meant is Will Barton starting tonight?
Gotcha.
Because that Lillard McCollum situation, you're going to want to figure out because they're not going to get their points from Nurkic, nor are they going to get it from Vonleh, nor are they going to get it from Harkless. So I think that if Portland has 100+ team total, those 100 points are coming from Lillard and McCollum for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what about TJ McConnell 4,600, Jameer Nelson 42, backing up Jarrett Jack 3,800. Any other of these guys? Nah, you gonna pass on.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna preface my sneaky play of the day by just saying that the DVPs for the point guard position are off the charts for for the Clippers. They normally allow 43 points to opposing point guards, and this week, over the last 5 and over their last 10, they've allowed 51.2 points, and over their last 10, 50.2 points. That's crazy. That's way higher than it should be. The only team that's even close to those numbers are the Dallas Mavericks, and that's only over their last 5. So when I look at these Clipper numbers against point guards, I say, why are these DVP numbers so high over the last 5 and 10, but why are they so normal over the season average? Well, if you take a look, who's at the point guard position over the last 10 games? Sean Thornwell, or whatever this guy's name is, Sindarius Thornwell. So when I went to the DVP, that was my secret play. I was going to mention the possibility of playing McConnell. But when you go to the DVP matchups, they actually have Thornwell guarding Ben Simmons. So that's my secret play of the day under that DVP stat.
Couldn't wait, could you?
Yeah, I'm sorry, but Ben Simmons at 9,300 could have a 70-point ceiling if this game stays close. But yeah,
I don't mind McConnell even, no matter who's guarding him.
Yeah.
Sneaky 46.
You know why I mentioned it, because there's a chance that the matchup says Ben Simmons, but who knows? Like maybe he gets into foul trouble. McConnell ends up seeing Thornwell. If he does, McConnell could end up have that big game. I don't think there's anyone else that could possibly be guarded by Thornwell besides maybe Redick. But from what I see here, Redick is going up against Rivers, and that seems pretty normal for games I've seen in the past. Sackrack against Griffin, Embiid against Jordan, and Covington against Wesley Johnson. So if it's not Ben Simmons going up against Thornwell, it's definitely going to be McConnell. So I have no problem having GPP exposure to McConnell.
Yeah. The more I look, the more I'm liking this mid range. Up to Ball at 76, and then down to maybe Teague at 65, and that 1,000 Conley, Teague, Schroeder, Holiday, even Rubio, because Minnesota's bad at against points guards. So I think that's where I'm looking at mainly right now at it's 1 p.m. when we're recording this pod. Obviously things can change. We'll update in our articles closer to lock, and then in the chat. Moving over to shooting guard, Bradley Beal. Again, we have no high-end shooting guards. High priced, I should say, higher than Beal at 77. I like Booker more than you do at 74. It sounds like Chris Middleton, who's been pretty good, at 7,000. His price dropped a little. McCollum at 7,000. And Tyreke Evans, who's been pretty much killing it recently, 41, 40. He's past 32 before that, 27, 42. So he's got 3 40-point games in his last 5. Tyreke Evans. Buddy is going against Middleton or whoever he's going up. Tough matchup. Klay Thompson at 66 versus Orlando, who I would like definitely for sure if Curry is out. Those are your high-end guys. Any of these high-end guys you like or are paying for tonight?
Well, let me say that the DVPs. Whoa, you just hit a windstorm there? Fuego, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, it sounded like you hit a tornado real quick.
I just blew out.
I have a couple plays I like in terms of going in order. The guys at the top that I don't mind. Really quick, hold on. I just gotta see this real quick. Like I said, McCollum and Lillard. One of those guys should go off tonight. Having exposure to both is definitely beneficial. I don't like Booker by any means. I would stay away from him. Sorry, I'm eating a little breakfast right now. I played Tyreek Evans the other day. He was like 4.1% ownership. He's coming off the bench and scoring tons of points. I think Tyreek Evans is a viable cash play at 6,800. He comes off the bench and he dominates the game. So, that's definitely a very nice play against the Milwaukee.
Oh my God! I got the maintenance man at my door. Keep talking.
I got you. I got this covered. Don't worry. Oh, this is the first time without Fuego. I love it. So we got Tyreek Evans, which I love.
Yeah, sorry about that.
The game that don't you're good, Fuego. Don't worry about it. Take your time. It's not like this is important or anything. No, but I was just saying that I do like this Tim Hardaway. So right now, Fantasy Labs is showing Tim Hardaway against J.R. Smith. And they have Courtney Lee guarding LeBron James. I don't see that happening, but if that's true, Tim Hardaway is going to demolish J.R. Smith. So I think Tim Hardaway becomes a great play. If that's not true, then Courtney Lee will be on J.R. Smith, and Courtney Lee will have a great game. The Cleveland Cavaliers are allowing 75.3 points over their last 5 games to opposing shooting guards. So that's really the J.R. Smith position. That's since J.R. Smith's been in the lineup because Derrick Rose has been out. So Tim Hardaway gets the best matchup there. If he ends up going up against J.R. Smith, Tim Hardaway becomes a lock. Will Barton's a great play. You got a lot of great plays at shooting guard.
Man, I wrote the other day with Barton, I said, if Harris is out, lock him in. And he went off for 40-some points or something.
Barton's the kind of guy. He's just like,
49.
But the thing you got to remember is normally in the starting lineup, his usage goes down. He comes off the bench. Okay. So you got to watch out for that. I don't know why he has such a good game there.
Because Harris didn't play.
No, I know, but he's like a Lou Williams. Like, you put him in the starting lineup, and it's almost like you'd rather him come off the bench most games.
Speaking of Lou Williams, okay, he's 5,500 going against Philly. Austin Rivers is 5,400. I don't mind either of them really, but Williams the other day, so he went off the one night. Then the next day, and I texted you, he was 50 to 60% owned the next day, and it wasn't the smallest slate in the world. It wasn't like a 2-game slate, and I could not figure out why. And you weren't sure. The best guess I was getting from people was that he had an okay matchup. Who'd he play? He was against the Pelicans, who I guess aren't very good against the shooting guard, but they're like kind of the middle. Well, they're not great, but they're the bottom 10. But it was just it was very surprised to see him at such a high ownership. It was pretty crazy. But I could go to one of those guys. You mentioned Tim Hardaway, who I really like, again at 6,000. We'll see if he burns me. Andrew Wiggins, 61 against Utah. But I want to go back to the Tyreek Evans real briefly. You love the DVPs. Milwaukee, if I'm looking at this correct, is second in the league, allowing only 34 points to opposing shooting guards, fantasy points. Does that temper your expectations on Evans?
No, Evans is coming off the bench. That doesn't worry me at all. Yeah, Evans comes off the bench and he's so involved, it's crazy. I think those DVP points, those DVP stats mainly apply to the center, to the starter position. So I guess that's Snell that's responsible for those stats. I don't see Tyreek Evans being guarded by Snell too much this game. He really just comes off the bench. Milwaukee will probably get up big. Memphis will need to catch up, and Tyreek Evans is just a great player. I have no problem with him. The thing is like my favorite plays are all like literally they're all next to each other. Will Barton, Klay Thompson, if if Curry's out. Tyreek Evans and C.J. McCollum, all great plays. Bradley Beal, 7,700 is a lot to pay, but you'll get that 40. I mean, you'll get, he's had a couple bad games in a row. Bradley Beal might not be as lock as you think he is. I think your best bet is also Austin Rivers. Austin Rivers is in a good spot tonight against the Philadelphia team that allows a lot of points to shooting guards.
Right. Yeah, I don't mind him. All the way down to I'm hearing all these noises. I got a maintenance guy who's coming in to fix my sink, and I can't. I think he just left, and I think he's coming back. So excuse me if I'm a little distracted, but he
don't
can do
worry.
his job without me.
Make sure he didn't just steal your sink.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, I've been losing everything but the kitchen sink recently. Well, I had a good day last week, but it's been bracketed by a lot of not so great games. So, are you going to pay all the way down for Shumpert at 32? Probably starting again, maybe. Projected for about 20 fantasy points. He put up 24 the other night. He's 3,200. You mentioned Thornwell at 3,400. He's playing point, but he's listed as a shooting guard on FanDuel. What did he put up the other day? He's only put up 16, 17, 14. I don't think I'm going to go there. I doubt I'm falling to the Shumpert trap again. There's not a ton of places that I really am looking to pay up, so I don't think I need. I think the lowest I'd probably go is Jordan Clarkson again at 43. May not even go that low. You got Courtney Lee, 47. Buddy Hield, 45. KCP, 47. Rodney Hood, 49. What have you been playing Hood or Donovan Mitchell at all? And if so, how do you decide which one to play?
Yeah, I normally stay away from Hood. I've played Donovan Mitchell a few times and it's paid off. The Utah games just scare me in terms of how slow they play. So
you think we'll get more usage without Gobert?
Yeah,
maybe.
I do. I do. I think maybe Derek Favors gets a little bump there.
Oh, good. I love Favors.
Yeah, I don't mind Favors. I don't know. That whole game scares me. I think Minnesota maybe blows them out.
Yeah, and it's only while you're on that. We were at shooting guard. While you're on that, the team implied total is only 101. It is supposed to be a close game at 3.5, but the total's 207. There's a couple 220s. There's a 229. There's 212. So there's some higher totals that we could target.
I have a play of the day at the shooting guard position.
Okay, let's hear it.
All right, and it's all the way down low, and I think I even targeted this matchup in one of our earlier podcasts this month. Atlanta allows a lot of points to opposing shooting guards, and Etuan Moore is going up against Kent Bazemore. Kent Bazemore is definitely the person that is responsible for these poor. Sorry, I'm just looking at the game logs. I thought they played earlier, but I guess not. Etuan Moore at 4,400 could be a very great play against an Atlanta team that allows 60 points across the board in terms of season average, last 5 and last 10 to opposing shooting guards. The Cavaliers are the only team that's close to that. Over the last 5, they've allowed 75 points, which are crazy, which is why I like the Tim Hardaway, Courtney Lee, like just have exposure to both of them. But those numbers.
Yeah, the problem with Moore is I like Moore too. I seem to like if I'm always in that range, I'll pop him in now and then, and sometimes it works. He had 27 last game, 34, but before that 13, 19, 14, but before that it worked 20, 26, 27, then 17, 21, 20. So the problem is with Cousins and what's his face AD there. His usage is so low, but he plays the minutes. He gets the minutes. If they would just let him, if the big guys wouldn't be so selfish, and I say that tongue in cheek, last game, 32 minutes, 18 points, 4 boards, and assist to steal. And he's like 1% owned, and he puts up 27 the day before that, 29 minutes. His minutes are always there, 27, 30, 33, 29, 31. I mean, he is got the minutes.
He's not going to have upside, but he can, in the right matchup, he will be focused, and this is the right matchup. Like, although Atlanta might not be able to guard the power forward and center position too, they are known to allow tons of points to the shooting guard position, and that is clearly because of Kent Bazemore moving to the shooting guard position.
Would you go to Bazemore? He's put up 42 of his last 4 games.
Yeah, but I'm just talking sneaky GPP more. Like I really like Moore as a 35-point ceiling and a 28-point floor, I think.
Okay, all right. Yeah, it's interesting. They moved Brogdon over to shooting guard. He's 6,100, I guess, with Bledsoe now in town. I wonder if the team's going to do that. Like, are they listing Brogdon as a starting shooting guard and Bledsoe power point guard? I'll check that out.
I watched the game the other day. Let me see here.
I can check that out right now as we're talking. They have Bledsoe.
Well, the thing is you got to remember.
So no, they do have him coming off the bench, but FanDuel wants to give you opportunities to play like guys that are good, and they don't want to.
But you also got to remember you're dealing with Jason Kidd, so this Bledsoe situation could change 100 times over the course of the week. I know, I really do too.
Yeah, he's one of the worst fantasy NBA coaches. You know, there's fantasy.
He's the Sean Payton of the NBA.
Yeah. So Hardaway that we mentioned we liked. I like Booker more than you. KCP, Clarkson. I could go one of those guys. Klay Thompson, Will Barton. I definitely like again if Harris is out. Etuan Moore. I don't mind as well. Some Lou Williams, Austin Rivers possibly there. Andrew Wiggins, you're going to go no, you mentioned no against Utah. CJ McCollum maybe versus Denver. All right, we'll move over to small forward. Anything else you want to touch on shooting guard before we move over?
No, I just think it's really important to have both, mainly exposure to the guy that is being guarded by J.R. Smith. So I think that's Tim Hardaway, but also at the shooting guard position lower down, they have Courtney Lee. So I recommend having exposure to both. Realistically, I think Tim Hardaway is going to have to guard LeBron, but you never know.
Right. Moving to small forward. These guys have been on the slate together quite a bit recently. That's the Freak and LeBron. We've had to make those decisions or put them both in our lineup. This is the night I could see doing both. If you're not playing Cousins, if you're not playing Anthony Davis, and you don't want to pay up for Waller Lillard, I think you could go ABC and LeBron. ABC stands for the alphabet, as he's known, for those of you who aren't aware, because he's got every letter in the alphabet in his name. You know, I just optimized the lineup with LeBron and the Freak, and it paid down for like Ulis and Jameer Nelson at point guard. I mean, that's a viable option. It got Hardaway in there. It got Kuzma, Saric, DeAndre Jordan. So, you know, that's not a horrible idea. If you had to pick one, are you going Freak? Are you going James? Or you can drop down to Durant. Durant's on the slate too. We got three little deeper power, small forward. You got Warren, Butler. I mean, last year, Butler would have been the same price as those three. Fournier, who we both like. Covington, who I always like. For a change, small forwards a little deeper tonight. Talk to me a little bit about.
All right, let's see. So we got the Portland Trailblazers allowing 56.3 points over their last 5 and 50.1 points over their last 10. I'm sorry, leading the league.
Don't tell me Wilson Chandler.
I can't do that. You're right. I was just.
I mean, you could. I just been getting him so wrong recently.
But like, so those small forward points.
Not that he's done anything to get right.
Okay, so Wilson Chandler's a GPP play. You're right. At this top end, I like LeBron. You could do a LeBron Porzingis stack. You know, try to get every single point from that New York game because I don't see who else is scoring from there besides Tim Hardaway or Courtney Lee, like we spoke about. But yeah, like I would pair Porzingis with Ben Simmons, which I'll mention later. Pay down for some of these point guards and shooting guards that we mentioned that there's a lot of value at, like Tyreek Evans, or you can go to Etuan Moore and Hardaway, and then when you're at the small forward position, hopefully you have a little bit of money to do some things with. Personally, I like TJ Warren. That's my safest play of the day, but that's not an upside play. That's 7,100. I'll be locking him in. Just because I think that Contavious Caldwell-Pope will be shutting down Devin Booker. If you don't like the Warren play, you could play Booker, and it's a perfect hedge off one another. But Warren should be able to go up against Ingram pretty nicely, and we've all seen his floor. His last game, he had 47 points. 4 games before that, he had 47. He has a weird floor, but in the right matchup, he takes advantage of it. And I think with Tyler Ulis running the point, which is a pass-first point guard, you'll be able to get a lot of points with Warren off the offensive rebound, off the points, off the blocks. I think he'll be able to do pretty well against the Lakers. Other than that, let's see who's allowing DVPs, high DVPs to opposing small forwards.
And you know who it is. We got Taurean Prince, baby, going up against the Pelicans.
I found a really great one. Season average, the Denver Nuggets allow 36 points season average to opposing small forwards, which is one of the league's best. The league's best is
Turner and Harkless, aren't you?
Yeah, no, listen to this. Hold on.
Okay.
Listen to this. Over their last 5, they've allowed 50 points to opposing small forwards. That leads the league, besides the Portland Trailblazers. So this Trailblazers game is crazy. So let me just say this really quick. So over the last 5, 3 teams have their points allowed to opposing small forwards has shot up. And this is going to get you crazy. But the Portland Trailblazers, the Phoenix Suns, and all the way down here is the Denver Nuggets. So have exposure to both for GPP. I mean, yeah, I like Warren. So I could either throw in – so the 3 teams I just mentioned were the Phoenix Suns. So you could throw in Brandon Ingram. I have no problem with that. He's definitely a GPP play. He doesn't have much of a ceiling. I think his ceiling this year is 40, but that's fine. If he hits that, that would be great. And then if you don't like Brandon Ingram, you can take another chance at Evan Turner or Harkless. And then if not Evan Turner or Harkless, you go over to Chandler. I think one of those guys might be the GPP play of the day because these upticks aren't just regular upticks. These are significant upticks, 25, 30, 35% upticks. So
all right, yeah, that's those are definitely GPP calls because none of them have put up super high ceilings recently, and because of the actual depth here, Fournier and Covington going against the Clippers. The Clippers are not good against the small forward spot, so Covington's been playing well, 63. We mentioned the Pelicans are in the bottom 5, I think. Taurean Prince, I think, at 58's in play. Interesting. We normally are always bitching about the small forward position. I think there's a lot of spots you can go to tonight. Jonathan Simmons on Orlando at 4,400. He's been playing pretty well. He's put up 26, 26, and 22 at that $4,400 price, going up against Golden State, who, the defensive, whether it's Durant, whether it's Iguodala, who may not even be playing, whoever's covering Simmons and Fournier. Simmons usually comes in off the bench, but he plays with Fournier, so don't let that scare you. And this is one of the higher, the 229.5 is with the highest over under the night. This Orlando. Now you do have to worry about the blowouts. Golden State's favored by 13, but if Curry weren't to play, that line may change. So that's interesting to see. But I always said I'm a sucker for the Orlando guys. Joe Ingles, 5,700. There's some guys in play here. Let's see. What about Cephalosha on Utah? He's been playing well recently. 2 of his last 3, he's put up 28 and 35 at only 4,100 for Utah going against Minnesota. He's projected to get 30 minutes. So, that's interesting. Any love for any of these low end guys tonight, or Prince or Ingles or any of these guys?
Yeah, I'm just checking really quick. Tavo Cephalosha. He's a power forward, so is he designated power
Okay,
forward?
it's because go Bear, so they're kind of rotating around a little.
No, I
Maybe
know.
that's what happens.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out whether he is a power forward because. Hold on 1 second. Let me just check this out because Utah's my one team that I normally stay away from. Yeah, so they have Tabo Cephalosha going up against Taj Gibson. The DVPs show. Hold on. Utah allowing. I'm sorry, not Utah. Sorry, my computer's freaking out right now. 1 second.
Minnesota bottom four in DVP versus small forward, but versus power forward.
But it's not Minnesota. It's sorry, it is Minnesota. Yeah, what is Minnesota? So actually, they're top four against power forward.
Yeah, against power forward. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't mind that at all. By any means, I don't mind that play. That's a lower play that you could definitely consider. Tabo Cephalosha going up against Taj Gibson. I always say in these podcasts that I know Taj Gibson's a bad defender. It's nice to be reassured by the DVPs. I just wanted to check, and my computer was bugging out for a second, so I apologize for that. But yeah, Tabo Cephalosha, I have no problem with if you want to pay down. Yeah, a lot of these plays tonight are there's a lot of hedgeable plays, like if you don't want to play Drew Holiday, play Moore. If you don't want to play Hardaway, play Lee. If you don't want to play Warren, play Booker. If you don't want to play Ulis, play Ball. If you don't want to play Ball, play Ingram. It all makes a lot of sense. It's logical tonight, which is good. If you're max entering, that is.
Yeah, even if just doing a couple and you like one or you don't like the other, or you like one and play one in one lineup and one in the other. Yeah, so yeah, small forward, it's kind of deep today, surprisingly. So I think there's lots of spots you can go. As the day goes on, we'll kind of figure out a little bit, get a little tighter core there for you. Yeah, I think you maybe have to get LeBron or Antetokounmpo in your lineups. Which one can be personal preference? Because I don't mind either of them. I think they're very close. If you just wanted to save the 800, you could go LeBron. I think I like them both more than I do Durant, though. If Curry happens to be out, which, see, I guess we're not going to get that news till late, because if that happened to be out, Durant is just going to play for the almost $2,000 savings under the free. But Durant, the problem is with Durant, he doesn't do the other. He scores. The other stats tend to be a little bit lower. But he's still always hitting that 40. It's just those 60, 70 point, 90 point ceilings that LeBron puts up aren't there with Durant. Moving over to power forward, Anthony Davis, 11-4. Porzingis, your guy, and he's slowly becoming one of my guys too. I've been playing him quite a bit. 96. Ben Simmons, 93. But he's going up against Blake Griffin, who is 84. And then we dropped to Draymond Green at 82. Those are your five guys over 8,000 right there. Any of those five you like or locks, or you don't like? Davis, Porzingis, Simmons, Griffin, and Green. Go.
So obviously I like Green if Curry's not playing. Blake Griffin I like as well. He's a very safe cash play. I mentioned Ben Simmons. Right now they have Ben Simmons being matched up against the let me find it right here. What's his name again? Thornton. Here. Thornwell. They have Ben Simmons actually matched up against Thornwell. If that's the case, he's going to demolish him so bad, it's going to be crazy. So I don't think that's going to happen for too long, but I think Ben Simmons has the best game of the night, potentially for upside and floor. I wouldn't pay up for Davis, nor would I. I mean, I have actually been calling Millsap pretty well. He's been reaching his stride. He's hit 52 and 45 over the last two games, and he does have a favorable matchup against a Portland power forward situation, which isn't doing too well right now. Kyle, I would, my thing with power forwards is basically this: either go up to Ben Simmons and Porzingis, or go down to Marquise Chris. How much is Chris? Yeah, I can see Chris having a good game at power forward. I would go down to him, or I would consider going down to.
Bunch of guys you could go down. Zach Randolph, 49. Dario Saric at 46. Taj Gibson, who you mentioned, who you don't like his defense, but he always seems to throw up some sneaky offensive numbers now and then.
Personally, just to make it clear, I'm going to Ben Simmons and Porzingis. I think for 96 and 93, there's value elsewhere. Like right now, I'm looking at a lineup: Porzingis, Simmons, Cephalosha, James, Hardaway, and Etwan Moore, and I'm left with a point guard in the center for 2 point guards and a center for 5,100 each. So that works, you know?
Yeah, sure. You can do that. And if you're not paying up at other spots, that's definitely a way to go. Tonight's an interesting night. It's was it 9-game slate? There's no like high-end guy where we absolutely are saying you must get him in. So there's definitely lots of different roster constructions tonight. That you can do. I did want to mention Dario Saric at 4,600. It was funny. The day we started talking about how good he was this year, since then, he's had 35, 34 in 27 minutes and put up 37, 26 and 27 FanDuel points. So they must have heard us, along with a few kind of guys getting banged up a little in Philly. Back up to this mid-range. You mentioned Paul Millsap at 73 going against Portland. He's had some really good games recently. Aaron Gordon going against Golden State. I guess will be matched up against Draymond, but I don't mind it. We've all seen his ceiling. Otto Porter going against Sacramento. I like his price is down. He was 8,000. I think, was it 8,000 a week ago? No, I take it back. It was 7,000. So it's down to 67. Kuzma, he's up a little to 6,200, but he let us down 2 days ago, but he came back strong with almost 40 FanDuel points last game out. You mentioned Derek Favors, who's going to be starting at center for Utah. He's listed as a power forward on FanDuel with Rudy Gobert out now. My thing is, and we'll get to center in a minute, I am not sure how Favors is going to match up against Towns, and maybe you can talk a little bit about that. If Towns has a huge advantage or if Favors can hold his own. And then you got Julius Randle, 5,200. We talked about his points per minute. He's still doing it. He's a point per minute plus guy. And they finally bumped his minutes up to 27 minutes last time out. Put up 28 points, 17 points, 9 boards, an assist, a block. So I don't even mind Julius Randle down at 52. We just mentioned those other guys, Randolph, Saric, Gibbs. There's a lot of places to go tonight. We're trying to give you our best info, but there's nothing standing out to me that says you have to play or avoid. I'm seeing a lot of good plays tonight. If you're on the fence, maybe go with the over-under. So, in this Lakers-Phoenix game, it's a 229. If you're trying to decide between him and Favors, for example, and the Favors it's only a 207, maybe go the Randles. Like if it's that kind of decision you're making. Talking about some other power forwards you like or dislike tonight.
One interesting one is Markieff Morris. The Washington. I'm sorry, I'm spacing out. I'm trying to do a bunch of things right now. Washington is going up against Sacramento, and ever since Zach Randolph has been starting for Sacramento, the
injury update: Eric Bledsoe is a game time decision Monday. Continue.
All right, so I guess that that makes what's his name a little bit of a better play.
Brogdon.
Yeah, I guess so. He hasn't been playing. Brogdon's been playing well off the bench. I think he's a little worried about his job now. So no, but Markieff Morris is an interesting play. The Sacramento Kings are allowing 61.1 points over their last 5 games to opposing power forwards. That's literally when Zach Randolph started playing. starting. The only thing that scares me is like Markieff Morris's minutes right now. They did let him go to 27 minutes one game. His first game, like he's been back five games now. He went 14 minutes, 17 minutes, 27 minutes, 17 minutes, and 20 minutes. But Markieff Morris is a very talented player. So he's a GPP play. I don't mind. But yeah, Zach Randolph has been allowing a lot of points to opposing power forwards, so watch out for that one. If you want to go lower, I would stay away from Crowder, I think, because I guess he's going to guard Porzingis, if I'm not mistaken. Am I wrong there? Let me see. I'm guessing he's the only one that's capable of, or unless they put Love on him, but I don't think that's plausible.
He would work Love anyway. I don't mind the Marquise Chris play at 43, like you mentioned before.
Yeah, I like Marquise Chris. If it's between Warren, if you want to get LeBron in there, and if you have to take Warren out, and like let's say you want to keep Cephalosha in there for value, you can go up to LeBron and you can go up to LeBron and do Markieff Chris at a cheaper price of what, 4,100? Am I right? 4,300. Yeah. And you got to remember, since that news that just came out, Brogdon becomes kind of viable. So, but he's a shooting guard. Oh, that sucks.
One Vandal.
Yeah,
I like that. You can play him at shooting guard, and you get point guard points.
I don't like that. I feel like Lonzo Ball might be the play tonight at point guard.
Gary Harris remains questionable. Who? Lonzo Ball?
I like Lonzo Ball. I mean, for his price, he has the highest upside, and we've seen his upside now.
Me too. I think he could be one of the more popular plays tonight, and he's a good play.
But it's just it's crazy that he's priced at 7,600 because his ceiling is 69, but his floor is 17 points. Like, what the hell is that?
Yeah. Well, hey, he's a rookie. Not even a rookie. He's a young rookie. So it's not like he's got like a whole bunch of college experience. Not that many guys do these days. Yeah, he's a young kid, and you're going to see those ups and downs. But he's got the talent, as we saw, like we mentioned last game out. And his last three, he's done well. So it's still, his price is creeping up there at the 76. But back to power forward. Let's see any other guys that we missed. Luke Babbitt might be starting again for Atlanta. But he's going against Anthony Davis, so I don't think I'm going to go back there. Ed Davis at Portland going up against Denver. I don't think I'm going to go there. I like Darius Sark, Marquise Chris is probably the lowest I'm going to go. Though I don't mind them. I don't mind Zach Randolph on Julius Randle at the under 6,000. Even the Derek Favors. Well, let's kind of transition into center. And I want to talk about the Derek Favors. So he might be a center on DraftKings, but he's power forward. But he's going up against a guy who I think I like, Karl Anthony Towns, because of no Gobert. But the three high-priced guys are Cousins, Joker, and Towns. Are you going to go up to any of these three? You can even throw Embiid in there at 8,800, going up against DeAndre Jordan and the Clippers. Towns, does he work Favors or is it closer than I'm making out to be in my mind? And what about some of these other guys?
I think Towns becomes the play of the night. I think he does work Favors. I'm gonna look up their heights really quick, but he hasn't had the ceilings or the floors for that matter that he normally has had. Yeah, but
but he's played better. He's played a little bit better the past four.
He's had a 66.
He's been up and down, really.
8 games ago he had 66, 47, 13, 52, right. 31, 33. That's not what you're paying for, but right. On a day where there's value, if he ends up demolishing Favors, there's not many other options for them to go to. And assuming that Utah hits a poor field goal percentage, there's a lot of rebounds to be brought in, and I have to look up how many turnovers Utah has, but I'm assuming that turnovers are on the uptick after Gobert is sidelined now for how long?
I think 4 to 6 weeks.
4, yeah, something like that. But their team's about to hit a flux, not a flux, they're about to have identity problems with their offense. So I have no problem going up to Towns. I wouldn't go up to DeMarcus Cousins. Jokic, I don't love. Is this the first time Nurkic is going against
Nurkic versus Jokic? I don't think so. I feel like they did last year because I remember making similar jokes.
Well, they were on the same team. You remember Nurkic was his backup. So if it is the first time, that's a narrative. If it's not, stay away. I like Nikolai Vukovic, especially with Shelvin Mack running the point. If that happens, he had a really bad game against Denver, but when he has good matchups, he takes advantage of it. And Zaza Pachulia is easy pickings. Kevin Love, I have no problem with. DeAndre Jordan, let's see how his game logs are. He has a good matchup DVP wise. His game logs are abysmal. I can't go DeAndre. I want to go DeAndre
Jordan. He's one of the worst versus DVP. You just said it.
I know, but look at his game logs. Ugh. 17, 23, 33. And he even had the minutes, 28 minutes, 27 minutes, 37 minutes. Like, something's up there. But maybe you go hedge lineup there. You go one with Jordan, and then you switch it out, keep the same lineup, and then one with Blake Griffin.
Just to read some of these, what I'm looking at, Sacramento Kings, the worst DVP, they're on the slate tonight. 76ers, third worst, they're on the slate. Golden State, fifth worst. Clippers, sixth. Hawks, Milwaukee.
Sacramento Kings are the team that really stick out there at the top.
So would you play Martin Gortat?
Yeah, well, that's what I was just gonna say. I was on him the other night
recently.
Yeah, like the day I was on him, he stopped playing well. But he has that 45-point burger, or that 45 burger against Philadelphia on the 18th. That's
the thing with Gortat. He will do that. He puts up 25, 24.
They do feature him.
He drops to 45.
they do feature him when the matchup's right. They do. Like, they feature him like a star player, but it's only when the matchup's right. And I don't know if this is the right matchup against Cauley Stein, despite the DVPs.
See, I think I like DeAndre a little more than you do, but I'm not sure I'm going there. I like Kevin Love against the Knicks. You like Love against the Knicks?
I love Love against the Knicks. If you don't go James, go Love. Who do they have? I got to see who's guarding. Let me see really quick. They have Crowder and Porzingis guarding each other, and they have Love going against Cantor. All right. Lock Love in, please. Everyone listen to me right now. Lock Love in. He is going up against Enes Kanter. Enes Kanter can't get out there to guard the three. He can't hold him in the post. Believe me, at a price of $7,500, Kevin Love is worth it. It's that simple. He's a cash game play. He's a GPP play. I didn't realize he was going up against Enes Kanter. I forgot about that. Lock him in. Kevin Love is such a nice play at 7,500. I don't even mind having LeBron and Love, considering Rose is out. Love had 53 points last game against a slow-paced team in Dallas. He had 62 points 2 games before. And he's just better. And the thing is I can't see Enes Kanter coming out and guarding the three there. And Love is a center that will take the three. So,
by the way, Ulyss is starting them. Sorry to interrupt. Suns lineup: Ulyss, Booker, Warren, Chris, and Chandler. Oh, now we got to be back to the Chandler Len thing. Who I saw some tweets about Len being a better player off the bench. They like him better. That Chandler Len thing, I'm going to stay away from again. Though I think both priced at 4,400. I think either are viable if you want to punt the position. But anyway, I do love the Love. I love the Love play at 7,500. And that ceiling there, like you mentioned, 2 of his last 3, he's put up 53 and 62 points. That's a pretty good ceiling for a $7,500 player compared to, say, like Jordan at 7,200. Jordan's not getting 50 to 60 points. Gasol, he's 76. I don't know if he's got a 50. He doesn't have a 50 point. He's got a 55 the second game of the season. So, yeah, he could do it. But Love's got that ceiling there at a good price at 7,500. Behind Go ahead.
Now,
I interrupted you. Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say I noticed Alfred Payton isn't confirmed out. I just noticed that if he plays, that's a great matchup for him. So don't be discouraged if he has that game time decision designation or signal or logo or whatever next to his name, because Alfred Payton is the kind of guy that can come back from an injury and put up 60 points. Sorry, I didn't
And
mean
you
to get
always
off
get
topic.
lower ownership like that, man. The other day, it was
Yeah.
even once they announced guys starting, like it was. I'm totally blanking who it was. It was maybe 2 days ago. It was a later game, and they announced somebody was in. Well, even the day they announced Peyton was in, you got him at 3%. But there was someone else, and they announced him in. I'm like, oh, he's a good play. I played him, and he was so low just because he had that GTD next to his name. He had the questionable next to his name, and you're looking at sites. So when people start setting their lineups earlier, or they set it at 6, and they're like, okay, I'm done. And the news comes out at 6:30. Those can be good low-owned plays. Status update: Steph Curry remains questionable for tonight. Again, we were recording this from about 1 to 2 p.m. today, so pay attention to that news. Look for our articles later in the day with updates, and check us out in the NBA chat. Center feels a little lighter than it has to me recently. It seems like it's small forwards deeper today, and it's usually not, and center's a little less, like, because I could go Embiid at 88. I guess I don't mind that, but it's something about DeAndre Jordan that always scares me. But I could go either of them in that matchup, Embiid versus Jordan. I like Love. I'm not feeling Gasol as much, just because I think I like Love better. Vuk's okay. Nurkic, I'm not on versus the Joker. I think you could go Joker, but I'm not sure I'm going to go up to Cousins either. But you could. It's just those ceilings, and we're talking GPPs here, or right now, if we're talking GPPs, any of these big guys have these ceilings. We got a lot of guys with big ceilings on the slate. So you could move, maybe tonight's the night you set your center last. I like to set my center. Like, I'll start setting my lineup, then plug in the center, kind of like with defense and things like that on FanDuel, because you only have that one slot. Maybe fill in center last. Maybe go around, set your lineup, and see how much you got left. Then you'll probably end up with 44 and have to decide between Chandler and Len. But then mess around and see what else you got left. So interesting night. I think there's a lot of places to go tonight. It's not. It's a 9-game slate. It's not 4 games. It's not 4 or 5 games where we just feel certain guys are absolute locks. I think there's plenty to go around tonight. This might be one of the more higher scoring nights, just because a lot of people are in good spots. Let's see. Just to review, the 229 Orlando Golden State game is highest tied with the Phoenix LA. Phoenix LA game, though, is only a 1-point spread. So if you want to get exposure, Phoenix LA game might be your best bet for ceilings compared to Orlando Golden State because of the high spread. But watch that Curry news. Watch that Curry news big time. We got the 221 over under in the Cleveland Knicks game. Cleveland is favored by 5, but that's not a ton. Knicks have played okay. And then we dropped down to 220 in the Clippers Philadelphia game. So we got a bunch of games over 220, so that's good. We even got the 217 Atlanta New Orleans game, though New Orleans is favored by almost 10, so you have to be careful there. But a lot of good high over unders tonight. Any other centers you wanted to touch on that you like, dislike, or before we wrap this up?
2 words: Kevin Love.
You heard it.
100% ownership. Mortgage your house out. Do what you got to do. Kevin
Please don't.
Love. No, don't mortgage your house out. And if you have a house that you own, you could sell it to me, and I will mortgage it, or we'll figure it out. Kevin Love is the biggest lock of the night. I love him, and I think that at whatever price I just saw him at, 7,600 or 7,800, that is just way too cheap. And I think you can consider him a lock in all formats.
Is it just a coincidence that I remember, or does it always seem like it's either a Knick or someone versus the Knicks that is your lock?
Well, just because I know how bad Enes Kanter is as of a defender. I know how many shots we miss, and it's like the Knicks game is literally just Porzingis taking. Like, I watch every Knicks game. I'm in New York. I'm a Knicks fan, so like I watch all these games, and Porzingis will take a shot. He'll either make it, and I know that on the other side of it, they'll give it to Love, or Porzingis will miss it, and Love will get the rebound. And the flip side is the same. Love will take the shot, or Porzingis will get the rebound. So it's like every possession, you're either coming away with a basket or a rebound, and that's kind of the goal, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And I was only half joking around there because I've mentioned this before in either prior podcasts, in articles, just in daily conversation about DFS. Is there something to knowing your home team inside out? That's why I always suggest watching games, whether it's one team, whether it's your home team. I mean, you talk to anybody who's a fan of the Green Bay Packers, they're going to know more about the Packers than I do. You talk to anyone who's a fan of the New York Knicks, they're not going to know more than Lucy know. The Baltimore Orioles, for example, this year I was not as good, but the year before, like, ask me a question or you tell me, I would say lock in Jonathan Scope tonight. He's going to hit a home run. And what would happen? He'd hit a home run because you know those teams. There is something to be said for watching these teams, knowing the ins and outs of teams. So I always say you do have an advantage with your home team, whether it's to play people against them, whether it's to not play people on the team, or whether, there'll be times you look at, and it used to, this season used to annoy me with the Orioles because the Orioles would be in a good spot and everybody would be on them, like, pissed me off. But it seemed like last year and, this year, there is something to be said for that. So that's my little rant / advice for the day. Don't discount your knowledge of any team, but especially, whatever team it is you watch the most, you follow the most. I mean, there's times like in the beginning of the whole – even at the end, but at the beginning of the whole Trey Mancini for the Orioles this year, it was like I knew, and from watching the Orioles, from watching statistics, and that Trey Mancini was a better hitter off of right-handed pitchers, even though he's right-handed. Well, a casual player is going to look and say, Trey Mancini versus a righty tonight, no, I'm not going to play him, but he's going against a lefty, sure. When I knew the exact opposite, and I'd play him against a righty and get him at 2% ownership. So there is a lot to be said for watching the games, knowing your teams well, knowing other teams well, and knowing the ins and outs of not just stats or optimizers or things like that. So lots of places you can go tonight. I'll do a quick recap for everyone. We like Lonzo Ball at point guard. We don't mind the Drew Holiday, Dennis Schroeder's of the world, Ricky Rubin in that little mid-price range. Seems like me and Lou like.
Steph Curry remains questionable tonight.
Yeah, it said he did not go through shoot around. He went through treatment instead. Eric Bledsoe went through shoot around. He is on track to play. So Jahlil Okafor, doubtful. He's kind of out of the picture. Remember last year was all like, do we play Okafor or not? Now it's like whether we play Embiid or not. Like I said, Curry did not go through shoot around, got treatment instead. Those are the injury updates. The shooting guards, we mentioned a lot. We like Hardaway a little bit. I like Barton. I don't think Clay. We don't mind Clay. Tyreek Evans. Small forward. You could pay up for LeBron.
Warren's safe.
Warren. I like the Fournier Covington range as well. I don't mind Tarin Prince. Those guys as well. Lou thinks Portland guys should do well. So close your eyes and pick between Turner or Harkless or play a lineup with each.
Just to be more precise, I was just saying the DVPs that had major upticks, if you were playing a GPP, were just the Portland Trailblazers, the Phoenix Suns, and the Denver Nuggets. So and the reason I was saying that is because all three of those options are ridiculous options. It was Chandler, Harkless, or Evans, and who's playing the Suns?
LA.
Ingram. Or Ingram. So Ingram's like the most viable out of all of those. But just like I was saying it for GPP purposes, not as much as like cash game purposes, just so you know.
Sure. Power forward, we're not paying up for Davis. Maybe Porzingis. Lou likes Ben Simmons, as do I. Blake Griffin, I don't mind. We don't mind him. Millsap's been coming on a little. Watch the Curry news for Draymond Green. And then you got some good plays here with the Aaron Gordon, Porter, Kuzmas of the world down in that price range. And I like Julius Randle, Saric. Lou likes Marquise Chris, who I could get behind. Center position. Sounds like we're not paying up. Well, we could pay up for Karl Anthony Towns. Kevin Love, lock him in. That's Jaguar Lou's center pick of the day. Lock the Love in, and I can get behind that 100%. I might be locking him in myself. I might do that tournament I was talking about in the beginning, the 5 entry max. So I may do 5 lineups tonight. Love certainly will be in 1, 2, 4. All right, that's going to do it for today's edition of the NBA podcast from Scout DFS. Check for our articles later with some updates and hit us in the NBA chat between 6 and 7. Locky 7, yes.
I will be there too today. I will definitely be in there. And I want to thank our sponsors over at Kia. Kia, they have good cars.
Is that their slogan? Kia, we have good cars.
You know, I don't know. I joke around like that, but is it like illegal for me to be like fake sponsoring? Like, just
I
so
think
you know,
most people know we're joking.
We're not sponsored by Kia, but they do have good cars. Kia. So go out there and buy a Kia car.
Yeah, you're promoting.
Yeah, they specifically sought out me and Fuego with our 100 some odd viewers. And,
this is for entertainment purposes only. That's all we have to say.
They want you 100 and whatever viewers to go out and buy a Kia, and they, you know, we signed a huge contract with them. So yeah, well, listen, guys, good luck tonight, and let's make some money.
And if you work for Kia, call Lou.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I also want to shout out to Dennis Roy for our new podcast and live stream graphic with the flames behind the Jaguar and the basketball. I liked it. So thanks a lot, Dennis. We appreciate that. And yes, I did call you Dennis Roy because we always have to include your last name. All right. Get it on. Check out our articles later. And for football, I'll be getting up that Monday, Thursday article as well. For Jaguar Lou, I'm Fuego Steve. We out of here. Peace.